First of all, let's make sure we're just nice and comfortable where we're sat, nice and relaxed, and we just start to close down our eyes whenever you're ready to. And we start just to breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. And each time we're going to breathe in, we're just going to picture that oxygen going down the throat into the lungs, filling up the lungs with the oxygen, and then it's going around all the body to the muscles, the brain, everywhere. And then it comes back into the heart, back into the lungs, and out through the breath. And it's just picturing that cycle. Every time you breathe in, just imagine it filling up, and as you breathe out, imagine it relaxing down. And as you do that as well, maybe notice how your body reacts to it too. So notice that how it starts just to get that a little bit heavier, maybe just sink down as you breathe out. Maybe just notice your nervous system calming down. Just everything seems to be a bit more relaxed, a bit more chilled. That's what we want from this. And now we're here in this chilled position. We're just going to spend a moment to say thank you for ourselves for taking this next hour out of our lives, our busy schedules, to focus on our own mental and physical well-being, to keep ourselves moving, to keep ourselves fit and healthy, so we can live the lives that we want to live. And that's all down to you taking this time to do this. And you could have been doing anything else, but you chose to focus on your own health today. And also, let's put some intention out there too, just to remain focused through the session. Think about maybe your weak areas if you've been multiple times before, or if you're new, maybe it's just focusing on just being present in the moment, not letting your mind wander. We don't need to think about what's for dinner. You definitely don't need to worry about who's going to win the Super Bowl now. That's already been decided. We can just focus on the present. Okay, return back to that breathing again, in through the nose, out through the mouth, just relaxing it down. Okay, so we're going to return to the breathing a little bit more in a minute. First of all, you can open up your eyes again. We're going to start going through our movements within our spine. So we're going to start with our neck movement. So looking down and then looking up. We're just going to go back and forth between the two, nice and gentle, nice and controlled. No need to rush it. No need to force the movements, just nice and gentle. And I'd rather you do an easy short range of motion than getting into a stretch here, because that's all we're looking for is the movement here. Nice and gentle, nice controlled. And if you're not doing your breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth, maybe just incorporate that here now. Whatever feels comfortable, whether that's breathing in on the way up or on the way down, just what feels comfortable to you here. And let's go into moving our neck side to side now. So we're going to look from one side, round to the other, and back and forth. And you can keep your eyes open for this, or you can keep them closed, depending on what feels good for you. For me, I like to keep them closed just because I've got the studio lights to the side of me, so I don't want to be blinded. Okay, let's go into the lateral flexion. That's where we bring the ear down to one side and then over to the other side. Just nice and gentle back and forth between the two here. Just really just feeling it there. Breathing through it as well. Nice work. Okay, let's go into the rest of our spine now. So we're going to come through an extension and then down into a flexion and back and forth between the two. If you can't use the chair here to help you pull forwards and bend over, then you can always use the back of your chair just to lift yourself up and then just bending forwards. But try and curl it over if you can. So rather than just bending forwards, we're curling over and then curling. Incorporate that breathing again, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Let's go into some rotation now. So rotating from one side, around to the other, and back and forth between the two. Nice and gentle. Don't worry about too much stretching it around, just gentle movements side to side, getting that spine a little bit more mobile, taking it through the range of motion that it's designed to do here. And let's go into the lateral flexion now. So that's where we come side to side. You might have to roll down your window there to go. Stick your head out. Probably the only person that's ever done yoga in a car on a Zoom call before. Excellent. It's either that or somebody's got some really bad driving. Let's see what it looks. Okay, let's go into the whirlpool now. So we're going to come around in a circle. Loosening off that spine. Change direction. Okay, giving that a little shake out there. Excellent. Okay, so we go on to some movement now. So we are going to do some with our arms. Now for this one, you can either do it single arm or you can do it double arm, but we're going to start small and then we're going to get gradually bigger as we go through it. So it's a little bit like we've done before, but with a little bit of a different twist on it. So it's incorporating that breathing again. So we're just going to start off nice and easy. We're going to breathe out as we push out, and then breathe in as we push in, out as we push out, in as we breathe in. Or you can do it double arm if you have that core balance to do so. I will definitely struggle, so I'm going to stick with single arm. It's okay if you want to switch up as well. If you want to do some single arm and some double arm, that's totally fine as well. Do what works for you here. And now let's reach forwards a little bit more. So reaching out and then bringing it back. Breathing out on the way out, in on the way in. Almost like your waves crashing on a beach here. Okay, now what we're going to do is going to go forwards, and then on the way up, back, we're going to bring it up and down. So it's forwards, breathe out, and as you breathe in, you bring it up and down. Really link that breath in here. Good work, everybody. Reaching right the way forwards, up and down. Nice. Now as we come, we're going to push it forwards, breathe it in, and you're going to reach down. We're going to rotate and touching almost behind us there. Bring that hand forwards, and then you can bring this one forwards, up, around, rotate to the back. So you're getting a bit of a chest stretch in there as well. As we bring it back, link that breathing into. Excellent work, everybody. Keeping it going here. Okay, let's go back a couple of stages, but instead we're going to go out to the side now. So we're going to push it out to the side and then bring it in. Pushing out to the other side, bring it in. And to incorporate that breathing, breathe out on the way out, breathe in on the way in. Okay, let's stretch it out a little bit further now. So leaning over to the side and then bring it in. Leaning over to the side, bringing it in. Incorporate that breathing as well. Out on the way out, in on the way in. If you can, utilize that core to reach out. If you need to catch yourself, you can do that. Or you can just hold on the whole time if you've really struggled with this one. The core stability. Just going to move slightly. I keep hitting my palm. Okay, now we're going to breathe out to the side and we're going to lift it up like a rainbow and down into the middle. So out to the side, up and down. And if you can here, you can start to use that core maybe just to help pull you up rather than just using the hand to pull you up. See if you can use those obliques just to get you back in line. Okay, let's reach right the way over now, over the top, keeping it going, and rotate as we point down to the other side. So it's pushing it out, over the top, keeping it going as you rotate round. Pushing it out, over the top, rotate, and down. Nice work, everybody. So we're going to do a little bit more of our breathing now. So we're just going to set ourselves down, get nice and comfortable, and then we're going to come into the breathing where we bring the arms out to the side, breathing in, and then as you come down, breathing out. So as you breathe in, bringing those arms to the side, really feel your lungs fill up, really like almost puff out your chest. And as you breathe out, bring those arms up a little bit more now, up to the side. You can bring your elbows up there instead. That might be a bit easier in the car. Everybody else can bring their hands up to the side. You've got more space. then bringing them up even further now. So up above, almost like we're a big X above our head. Breathing in on the way up, out on the way down. If you can, bring your hands together, that's great. No worries if you can't though. I know that is a difficult stretch to do. I'm getting a spasm, you carry on. Just breathing in on the way up, breathing out on the way down. Work. Okay, let's gather those clouds now. So as you bring up, we're going to come around, collect all the clouds above your head, bring them down to your belly, and then repeating that through. Incorporate that breathing here. Reversing it now. So pushing it up through the middle, out, round to the side, and down. One more time here. Good work. Okay, give that a little shake out. And we have just a 1 or 2 minute, well, probably just 1 minute, just a drink break. So make sure you stay hydrated. And I'll be back in a second because I'm going to grab mine too. Sorry about that. I was a little bit out of my reach. So let's get the stretch on, which is lucky because I'm all warmed up for it. Right. So the next bit we're going to do, we're going to move on to some more movement stuff with the rest of our body involved, our upper body anyway. So we are going to go through the movement that we've been doing quite a bit recently. We start right from the beginning and go through, just because there's some people who are new here, but that's absolutely fine. We'll just skirt through it. So yeah, so we're going to go all the way down to start with. Then we're going to come up with a flat back, and then we're going to go back down again. Then we're going to come up with a curled back. So we're going to go bit by bit, nice and slowly. Slowly straightening that body up. The neck finish off the movement. As we come here, we're going to reach up to the sky as high as we can, and then relaxing it down, and you can give it a bit of a shake out at the bottom there. We're going to go through that again. So all the way down, up with a flat back, back down, up with a curled back, really slowly here, bit by bit by bit, reaching up towards the sky when you can. Bring it down and giving it a little shake out at the bottom. We'll do that 2 more times. So going down, bring it up with a flat back down, up with a curl back, bit by bit, reaching up towards the sky, bringing it down and giving it a shake out. All the way down, up with the flat, back down, up with the curl back. Neck finish off the movement, raising up towards the sky and then coming down. Let's do the end part next, and then we'll start to slowly join them together. So the first bit is reaching behind us and then reaching up towards the sky and then bringing it through this little gap we've created here, reaching to the other side. Good, so it's pointing behind us, pointing up, that front arm's resting on the lap there, and that gap we've created, we're going to thread that needle through to the other side, back to the first time again. So pointed behind us, pointing up, threading the needle through, and changing arms, pointed behind, pointing up, threading the needle through and changing arms. If you haven't got use of your arms, maybe on one or both sides, then we can still do this by rotating around. Everybody else can continue. If you've got the hang of it, you can just rotate around and then lean forward slightly onto there and then rotate around to the other side. And that's still going to get you that spinal movement there. And even if you just use your arms a little bit, so having the arm through. So there's some options there, or you can just simulate it the best you can. All right. You finish off the one you're doing there, and then we will go back to the first movement we did, and we'll add on a little bit more. So first of all, is coming down again, up with a flat back down, up with a curl back. Slowly does it, no rush here. Neck finishes off the movement, arms come up, hands in a prayer position above our head. So we slowly drift it down in front of our body and rotate around to one side. And then once we're there, we're going to relax out of it. Then going down, we're going to repeat on the other side now. So all the way down, up with a flat back down, up with a curl back. Slowly does it. Reaching up with the hands into the prayer position, slowly drifts down in front as we rotate to the opposite side now. Once you're there, relax out of it. Yeah, let's do one more on each side. All the way down, up with the flat back down, up with the curl back. Easy does it. Good stuff. Reaching up above your head. Arms come together, come down in front of us. Rotating around to the left or the right, whichever one you started with, and then easing out there. One more now on the other side, coming down, up with a flat back down, up with a curl back. Reaching up to the sky, arms together, coming down, rotating around to the other side, and easing out of it. Good. Okay, so we're going to go through the second progression of the second one now. So we're going to start with either pointing behind us or just turning. So we're going to point behind us, reaching the front hand up forwards. As the rear hand drops down, we look towards the front hand. It comes up over the top and then comes back down like a seesaw. Lands on the front of the lap there. As the other arm comes up towards the sky, going to rotate to point it as high as we can. And then we rotate it through. The thread in the needle again, pointing to the other side. Changing arms, so it's pointing behind us. Front arm raises. We look towards the front hand as the rear hand drops. Front arm comes up overhead and then comes back down again like a seesaw onto the lap. This arm comes up and round, reaches right up towards the sky, and then comes around, threads that needle through as we repeat on the first side again, pointing behind us, reaching that hand up in front, looking at the front hand, comes up over the top. Sorry, my belly's showing a little bit. Coming down, lands on the lap there, reaching up towards the sky with that hand, coming right the way through that gap, best we can here to the other side, and then back to the second arm again, so pointing behind us, lifting that front arm up, comes right the way up and over, seesaws back down again, comes around, we're pointing right up towards the sky, as we thread that needle through to the other side. Okay, we're going to do one more on each side and then we link it all together. So pointing behind us, reaching up towards the sky, seesawing down. You guys are doing great. Lifting that arm up above, pointing to the sky, reaching all the way through the gap here, pointing to the other side. And changing sides. So one last one with this one, pointing behind, reaching up in front, seesaws backwards first, arm comes above our head, as the front arm comes down, rear arm raises right up to the sky, and then comes through the gap there. Okay, let's link those two together now. So we'll start with the first one. And there'll be a transition between the first one and the second one here. So I'll just swap the t-shirt in a sec. There we go. Nobody wants to see that. Right, so we're going to go all the way down, up with a flat back, all the way back down again, curling up. Slowly does it. Raising up towards the sky. Reach right the way up. Arms come together. As it comes down in front of you, as we rotate around to one side to begin with. From here, we're going to open those hands up in that same position, and then we're going to lift ourselves up, and we're at the start position for the second one here, raising that hand over the top, coming right the way back down, hand comes onto the lap here, it's this one, puts right up to the sky, high as we can, and as we come around, thread that needle through, and then relaxing out of it there. We're going to repeat on the other side. So coming all the way down, up with a flat back, down again, up with a curled back. Slowly does it, nice and easy. Reaching your hands right the way up above our head. Hands come together. Slowly drifting down in front of the face as we rotate to the opposite side now. From here, hands open up. We sit up from there, reaching up over our head as the back hand drops down, seesawing it back again. Hand comes onto the lap, arm comes up above, points right up to the sky, and threads the needle through. Okay. Alrighty, well, apologies for that, but I'm back now. So this last sort of part of the session, what we're going to do, yesterday I said about some stretches. So what I thought was a good idea is that we go through some of those stretches because you're probably feeling a little bit tighter in some of those muscles there today. So we're holding roughly about 30 seconds. I'm going to have to count myself, so they're probably not going to be that accurate. So yeah, we're just going to go through the stretches. We keep it nice and simple with them. We won't try and overcomplicate it too much. So first one we're going to do is a really simple one using our chair here. So we can have our hands sort of on our hips or our wheels or something, and then we're going to put the brakes on so I don't move. We're going to push the elbows forwards here, and you should feel a stretch sort of across your back, maybe more in sort of the shoulder, like towards the edges of the shoulders rather than in the middle of the back there. I'm just going to hold that position there the best we can. Yeah, I'm counting my head. So we're going around about 30 to 40 seconds here. And then relaxing it out. What we're going to do is keep those hands in the same position, but we're going to bring elbows towards each other if you can. And then really like puff out that chest and hold that position there. Really squeeze the elbows together behind us if we can. Don't worry if the wheelchair's in the way, just do the best you can here for this. Feel that stretch. See if you can get a little bit more even. Remember to breathe as well. And easing out of it. Let's go on to the stretching the lats, which are these big muscles underneath the armpit here. So we're going to reach over to the side and just holding that position. And you should get to a position where you can feel it. Hold that position. See if you can reach even a little bit more. Really try and stretch the hand over rather than bending over if you can. That's going to be where the stretch is here. Easing out of it. Over to the other side. If you can get it a little bit further even, try and do that. Feel that bit more stretch. Excellent work, easing out of it. Good work, everybody. Next one we're going to do, we're going to hand up and we're going to have it elbow backwards. I was going to rotate to the side so you can sit to the side as well. So it's elbow up, and then we're going to rotate the hand backwards while keeping that elbow in the same position. Almost like you're about to throw a baseball there. And the stretch here is really deep inside the shoulder because it's stretching a rotator cuff muscle. And it's one that sits in front of your scapula and comes around to the front. It's responsible for internal rotation, and we're externally rotating our shoulder, which is stretching it off here. Easing out really slowly on this one because it can be quite sensitive to come out of that one. Off to the other side. It back, holding that position. Good work, everybody. And easing out of it nice and slowly, almost giving it a shake off. That's what I like to do, just help out there a bit. Okay, so the next one we're going to do is a tricep stretch. So we're going to bring it up over our head And we're going to bring our hand down and we're going to try and pull that hand down. Now, you might be able to see Liz is holding on to her with that. Personally, if I do that, I'll fall over. So I'm going to stay just with the one hand and just try and reach my hand down my back. If you can't use the other hand, you can help pull it over with that one. But for me, that's not going to happen. Well, it will, but I'll end up down there. Easing out a bit, changing to the other side. So don't worry if you can't get your elbow right the way up here. Do the best you can. Still going to get a bit of a stretch in here. And relaxing out of it. Good stuff. So just a little suggestion there as well. If you are struggling to get the arm up above your head or that, what you can do is you can either use a wall or maybe a door frame would be even easier. And you can use that door frame. So you could slide up the door frame and use that to support you in that position. That way you're not having to lift your arm up above your head, and that's just supporting you in that position. You can use that for that one. You can almost use it for that one. You can put your hand there, and the chest stretch even, you can just put your hand against the wall and then pull that hand backwards. And then you're not worrying too much about lifting the arm up. You worry about getting the stretching, which is what we want to do here. It's not an exercise as such. So yeah, little thing there. Okay, what is the time? Good, perfect timing. Okay, right. Let's close our eyes down again. We're just going to focus back on that breathing, and we're going to do a little bit of meditation here to finish off today's session. So yeah, closing down the eyes, and let's just focus on the breathing. So even with the stretching and the yoga, your breathing might be up a little bit. So we're just going to get hold of it again just by breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. Each time you breathe in, puff out that chest. Sit up nice and tall, and as you breathe out, do the opposite of that, relaxing down, bringing those shoulders forwards almost and relaxing in the chair. So it's quite an animated breath. So as you breathe in, it's bringing the shoulders back, lifting your chest up. As you breathe out, relaxing down. Okay, so hopefully now you start to feel a bit more relaxed in the chair. Keep those eyes closed, keep that breath going. And whilst I just explain the next bit we're going to do. So we're going to do a body scan. Some of you may have done this before, some of you may not, and that's okay. I'm going to explain how we do it anyway, and I'm going to guide you through regardless. So we're going to start basically from the top of our head and scan all the way down to our toes. And we're going to stop off bit by bit along the way and just check in with our body. With this, we're not trying to solve anything. We're not trying to create, figure out what's wrong or anything. We're just going to check in and see how each part of our body feels. The reason for this is that we want to get an understanding of how our body is in a normal state, where it's an agitated state, whatever it might be, and getting basically like a baseline figure. So the more you focus on it, the better you get at understanding how your body feels on a day-to-day basis. Big reason is for this is, say you've injured your wrist, for example. You can focus a lot of it, get, oh, my wrist is hurting, but you're focused so much on that, you might neglect to see something else in your body, like your shoulder or the hip or something else that's starting to become a problem. But you can start to catch it early then and start to apply the things you need to do to help it. So no worries if you didn't understand any of that. We're going to guide you through it all the way anyway. So focusing on the top of your head, so right on the crown of your head, just draw your attention there. Now this is an area that we can't feel too much, but we're just going to pay the attention there and notice how it is. Notice how that skull is, and the hair, and that sort of area there. Again, don't worry if you can't feel anything or not too much or that. This is not an area that's particularly sensitive. So let's move it forwards now and into our forehead. And again, we're going to check how it is. And you can give yourself, a little wiggle in the forehead. You can move it up and down using your eyebrows and just checking in on how it is. And it might be that it's tired. It might be that it feels good. It might feel neutral. We're not trying to make an assessment. We're just trying to make an observation of how it is. And as we move down now into our eyes, around those eye sockets, they can get kind of tired sometimes if we've been up for too long or had some restless nights or whatever it might be, or they might feel quite fresh and light, which means that we are well rested. So it's just making that observation and then moving on. Let's go into the cheeks now. Noticing how these are. Obviously, there's a lot of movement here from our mouth. So if you're somebody who smiles a lot or anything along those sort of lines, then maybe your mouth is open more and that might cause some achiness in that area. But it might be that it's just feeling okay, and that's good too. Let's move now into our jaw. Obviously responsible a lot for our eating. Also helps with the breathing, as that's where it goes in. All right. So yeah, just noticing how it feels. Maybe even give it a mouth and open, a wiggle side to side. And seeing how it is. Is it stiff? Is it feeling good? Who knows? It's up to you to observe. And then let's move on now. So we're going to go to the muscles here just behind and below the ear. So it's like a string of tendons, and they go from behind the ear and they go all the way down to the shoulder. So we can give our head a move side to side. Earlier, we did some exercises with the neck. That's going to help to keep it mobile, keep it stronger and making it feel good. So let's move on, and then let's go into the spine itself. So starting where the skull and the vertebrae meet, and we're just going to go down one by one here, noticing how the vertebrae are. So just going down. It can be hard again to notice, but the more you do this, the more it like in tune with your body you become. The more you pick up on things, going down that neck bit by bit until it reaches our torso. Let's move out from the spine now and go along the shoulders to the deltoids and noticing how they are. So feeling that area there. Maybe you can give your arm a movement round to feel it in the shoulders, in the deltoids. Notice how the joint is as well as the muscle. And if it feels stiff, if it feels sore, if it feels achy or good or refreshed, whatever it might feel, and just notice it. And now let's move on to our biceps. So noticing how they are, you can give your arm a flex and extend, seeing how they are, and obviously they work in tandem with the triceps at the back. So we're going to notice how both of them are here together. Is there any tightness or weakness or whatever it might be? Into the elbows now, noticing how they are. These are important joint for those who are manual wheelchair users. A lot of stress goes through here with the pushing. So just noticing how it is. Is there anything that maybe needs some attention? We're not going to try and fix it now. We're just observing it and moving on now to the forearm and the wrist. Again, the wrist is an important joint, making sure that this is staying healthy is important. So we're just going to check on it, see how it is. Is it feeling fluid, clunky? Just make that observation. Now move on to the hands and the fingers and give them a little wiggle. Notice how they are. Let's draw that attention right the way back up our arms into our torso again and to the chest area to begin with. So we're going to focus on the chest, noticing how it is. You can give it, maybe even poke if there's any sore points or anything that you think maybe, oh, maybe I worked out hard here recently. Just noticing how it is. We're going to go down into our belly now. Obviously, this is where our digestive system is, and it's an important part of our body to make sure that it's sending out all the nutrients from our food to the rest of our body. So it's an area that we need to take care of and look after. So just seeing how it is. Is there any trapped wind or anything like that maybe needs some light massage on our tummy or something? But again, we're not focused on trying to fix it now. We're just trying to observe, and later we can do some fixes. Let's go around to the back again, back up to the top of our back, and we're going to work down that vertebrae bit by bit, all the way down. Maybe moving the torso to get that spine fluid and moving, seeing how that is as we go down now into our hips. Now, this is an area that you may not be able to feel or may not be able to use, but we're just going to still pay attention here and focus on it and notice what we can notice. So for me, I can't feel anything, can't move anything, but I can still feel like tightness from moving these areas, either with my hands or through shaking my body, however it is, and just noticing how it feels and going down now into the upper legs. So starting with the front of them, seeing how they are. You can give them a poke or a prod with your leg, with your arm, sorry, and just notice how they are moving down the leg there. And let's go to the back of the leg. You can do the same. If it's easy to access the back of your leg, you can give them a poke or a prod, notice how they are. And again, we're just observing it. The more we observe, the better understanding we have of how it feels normally. Let's go now into our knees. Notice how they are. I personally like to move them with my hand. That helps me give an understanding of what's going on there. I'm going down into our lower legs now, going down the back of them, down the calf, into our ankles, and finally our feet and our toes. Good. Okay, so keep that attention down at the toes. What we're going to do, we're going to breathe in 3 deep breaths, but as we breathe in, we're going to imagine our bodies filling up with oxygen right from the tip of our toes right to the top of our head. So going breathing in, breathing out, and again breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. Keeping those eyes closed there. Let's start to close down the session. And as we do so, I want you to either do this now, once we've closed down the session, or maybe do it later on tonight. What I want you to do is to think of 5 things that you're grateful for, whether that's your physical self, your mental self, but things you're grateful for that are in your life. Try to make them as much as possible about you as a person. Yeah, don't worry too much about you having certain people in your life. Try and focus on you and yourself here for this one. You can also do a list of 5 things of other things, because it's just that it can easily add up to just the friends and families in your life if you just do 5 of those. So let's focus on things that specifically relate to you and your life. So if you want to do that now or later on, that is absolutely fine and up to you. But as we start to close down the session now, we're going to thank ourselves for being here today, for taking this time out of our busy lives and schedules to be here focusing on both our mind, our body, and making sure that we're doing the right things to stay healthy and happy for a long time. So if you want to give yourself a round of applause, a pat on the back, whatever it might be here, just say well done to yourself. Okay, let's start to open up our eyes. Whenever you're ready to, you can move, you can give yourself a wiggle, and we are back to the room. So well done, everybody.